Hello, welcome to my 2019 winter newsletter. This is the first newsletter of the year. I am so excited to be reporting to you from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. This is my home. I'm in my living room right next to my fireplace, which I have. Thank you very much. We don't use it that often because it doesn't get that cold here, but it's a really nice feature to have in our home here, and I'm really, really privileged to be home for a little time. I haven't had much time off this year, as you guys know, and we'll talk about that when we review 2018 together, but I took a beautiful family vacation for Christmas this year with my entire family. We went to Breckenridge, Colorado. I tried cross-country skiing for the first time. I spent 90% of the time on my bum, so I had a cross-country bum skiing experience, but that's okay. It was still really fun. It was beautiful. We had snow, we had mountains, we had elevation. It was heaven. I had such a good time up in Colorado, and now I get to be home for a little bit of time before I head off to my next few engagements, which are, to begin with, a couple of concerts. I'm going to be singing a recital in Santa Monica for the Maestro Foundation on January the 20th, and on the 25th, I'm going to be back here in Baton Rouge to sing a concert with the LSU Symphony Orchestra, and it'll be featuring tenor Paul Groves, who is a wonderful friend of mine and my entire family, actually, and Brandon Hendrickson, who is a good friend of mine from LSU. We all studied with Robert Grayson, who, as you guys, if you follow me, you remember or you know, he was my professor at LSU before I headed up to the Young Artist program at the Met. And he's an extraordinary teacher and coach, and I still work with him every time I'm home, so it's one of the best things about being back here is getting to work with him and go through new roles with him. And new roles is something that has been kind of a theme for me this year. In 2018, I sang 5 new roles that I had never done before, some of which I had never even studied until right before I had to do them. Others I had studied in the past, or a version of them in the past, and then I got to sing them in production. So the very first role I did in 2018 was Gretel in Hansel and Gretel. We did it in English at the Metropolitan Opera. It was a wonderful, wonderful production. I sang the Dew Fairy in that production back when I was a young artist, and it was really lovely to get to sing Gretel. I think it's an extraordinary opera. I'm obsessed with it. After Hansel and Gretel, I went over to Los Angeles to sing 2 roles there. One was new. It was Eurydice in Orphée et Eurydice in the French version of Gluck's Orfeo. It was a beautiful, beautiful production featuring the Joffrey Ballet. I had an incredible time. I got to wear pointe shoes. I got to dance around with the dancers and do my stuff, and it was amazing. And that was a new role for me too. And then I got to sing Rigoletto there, which I've sung Gilda many, many times, but it's always a privilege to sing again. And then straight from there, we headed over to Madrid, and I got to sing Lucia di Lammermoor at the Teatro Real, which was a really, probably one of the most life-changing experiences I've ever had. Lucia has been a role that I have not sung for a few years until I sang it the year before last. Now I have to say the year before last because we're in 2019, until I sang it at Covent Garden, and then this next opera, and that was amazing for me. And then I got to sing it in Madrid just a few months later again, and that was a really nice experience for me because my colleagues were wonderful, my production team was wonderful, the theater is wonderful, the conductor is wonderful. So I've had 2 amazing Lucias recently, almost back to back. It felt like they were back to back in my life, and Lucia is a role that I feel very close to, and it's a role that I've studied for many, many years. So even though it's not a new role this year, it feels new every time I do it. After Lucia, I went to, let's see, where did we go? Then we went to Pesaro, Italy, to sing at the Rossini Opera Festival. It was my debut there in a new role, Rossini's Adina. It's a 1-act comic opera, really, really cute production that we did with a giant cake. Hi, Rosie. Rosetta Cucchi was the director. We loved every moment of being in Pesaro. It is something really special to get to be in Italy anytime, but to get to be in Italy on the Adriatic Sea in the summer is heaven. Like heaven. After work, everybody goes out and enjoys a cocktail by the beach at night until midnight. You can buy ice cream after midnight. It is heaven. Like, I had the most wonderful time. And it was while I was in Pesaro that I got kind of a surprise offer, and it was to come to Paris to debut as Marguerite de Valois in Les Huguenots. Now, I had never sung Marguerite de Valois. I've studied it. No, not studied. I looked at it once. I browsed it once because I was considering it. And so I knew kind of the scope of the role, but I never had actually sat down and learned it. And so it was like, hey, it was a jump in at the last minute, so I had to really kind of crash learn it. And at the same time, I was singing Adina in Pesaro, and I had a concert, a solo recital concert in Pesaro, in which I sang several operatic arias. My first concert ever with orchestra, and that went really, really well for me, but I was so nervous because I had my Adina performances, the concert, and now this idea of Marguerite de Valois, all kind of swimming around in my head. And I had to kind of just, I hate to say gird my loins, but maybe tighten my girdle. I tightened my girdle a little bit to prepare for these next few months, which proved to be very challenging, but very, very rewarding in the end. Les Huguenots was a tremendous success for the Paris Opera, and I felt really, really happy to be able to sing in it at all. I got to meet and work with one of my favorite singers alive, Ermonella Diaho, who I think is just an extraordinary artist. I learned so much from her, and it was a real privilege for me to get to work with her. So after that, I stayed in Paris because I was singing Elisir d'Amore, l'Elisir d'Amore. That was my first Adina in Elisir. I've studied Adina, I've covered Adina many years ago, but I had to basically relearn it and get to sing it in a production. It was a production by Laurent Pelly. It was really, really fun. I got to run around on hay bales. I got to ride a motorbike. I got to basically sing with Vittorio Grigolo, and Maestro Sagripanti was the conductor. We had a wonderful time. In fact, I want to also mention my conductor for Les Huguenots was Michele Mariotti, whom I worked with in that London Lucia I was telling you guys about, and it's such a privilege to work with him. He has been such an extraordinary part of my musical life. I would say a new mentor for me. I'm very happy to get to work with him, as well as Maestro Sagripanti, and basically every great maestro that I've been so privileged to work with this whole past year. Maestro Conlon in Los Angeles, Daniel Oren in Madrid. I mean, it's just, the list goes on, and I'm really, Donna Runnagles in the Metropolitan Opera. Hello. I'm so lucky, and I feel very, very privileged because I learned so much from these extraordinary musicians, and it just, the work never ends, but it's like fun, you know? I'm rattling on, but I had such a wonderful year, and I just wanted to, express my gratitude and my excitement for how well everything has gone. After Elisir, my last production of the year was in Rome. I got to sing with Maestro Daniele Gatti. I got to sing Rigoletto, new production, and I got to work with Roberto Frontali, who sang Rigoletto with me, who's amazing, and I loved working with him. And just being in Rome in December is like heaven. Really, it was such a beautiful year. I can't express how grateful I am for all of the support that I've gotten. You guys know I've had a lot of really positive recognition this year, and I'm very, very grateful to Opera Wire, for example, who put me on the top of their list of singers who had a year to remember in 2018. It really meant a lot to me because, I mean, yes, we were working very, 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 very hard, and the year flew by. Like, before I knew it, it was over. And I was like, oh, it's Christmas. But it's nice to kind of look back and see it all and go, wow, and line it all up and go, wow, I've worked with this person, this person, this person. What an incredible privilege, And next year will be no different. I've got a lot of beautiful, beautiful engagements lined up in 2019, and I'm really excited to share them as we come along, as they get announced, and as the time is ripe. So I said I have these two concerts in LA and Baton Rouge, respectively, and then I go off to Barcelona to make my debut, which is a dream come true for me. My great-grandmother was born in Barcelona. So, and I visited once for like 2 days, and I fell in love with the city, and I cannot wait to set foot in Barcelona for a contract, and it would be Handel's RODELINDA. It's a beautiful opera. I've been working on it nonstop for months now. It's a really incredible piece. It's so complex and gorgeous, and I'm writing my own variations, and I'm having fun getting it together, and I just can't wait to do it in Barcelona. It's a Klaus Guth production. I love Klaus Guth. I have a lot of respect for his work. Let's see. Then I go to sing another new role. So that's a new role for me. And then I get to go sing another new role right after in Brussels, making my debut there at La Monnaie to sing Isabelle in Meyerbeer's Robert le Diable. Now, that's very exciting. I only have to do it in concert. And so Meyerbeer, look, y'all, Meyerbeer is like bel canto on steroids. You think Donizetti and Bellini and Rossini are bel canto. They're the bel canto masters, and it's hard enough music as it is. Meyerbeer is all that music 10 times longer, 10 times more complicated, and very, very, very difficult to learn. I mean, I had such a difficult time learning Marguerite de Valois quickly and trying to really perfect it. And I felt like, oh my God, I was just so nervous because I had to perform it in our production this time I get to have a lot more time to learn it. I get to use a music stand and I don't have to memorize it, but it's still a tremendous piece. I mean, Roberto Diablo is one of Meyerbeer's masterpieces, and it's an opera that I really look forward to doing. And I've sung that aria, Robert Toi que j'aime, if you guys might know. It's on YouTube. I've sung it in concert. I sang it as an encore. It was so well received. So I'm really happy that I get to do the entire role now and kind of bring it all together. So those are my upcoming things and a little bit of a look back in the past. I hope you guys had a beautiful and blessed 2018, a blessed Happy New Year, and I hope that you have an incredible 2019 as well. I look forward to going on this journey together, lining all our ducks up, and then at the end of the year, looking back on it and seeing what we learned. Okay, love you guys, and thanks for following me, as always. Bye.